So I'll start with myself. I'm Sarah Lefebvre. I've been in corporate learning for a very long time, more years than I care to remember. And over that time, I've become increasingly interested in the scope for games to facilitate really deep learning. And also around the idea that games can help us to approach some of the most intractable problems we face. So my particular interest is in areas like climate change, sustainability, ecosystem degradation, but also systemic issues such as racism and inequality. I'm also interested in the way that organisations function as learning systems in themselves, or don't function as learning systems in a lot of cases. And so I'm currently researching and writing a book on a new systems practice approach to learning design. Most of you who have come across me before probably know me as the editor of Ludagogy magazine, and it's Ludagogy that is organising all of these sessions. And this is the last but one of those sessions that we'll be running. So as well as looking at these recordings or attending these sessions, I hope you'll take the time to have a read of some of the articles that have been written about prototyping and playtesting for the tie-in issue of Ludagogy this month. So to move on to my co-presenters, we have Lakshman Murugappan. With one playful Lego brick at a time, Lakshman and his boutique innovation team at Play, Think, Transform aspire to transform the current global work ecosystem into a playful yet seriously meaningful playground. His core focus is in the area of games design, Lego serious play, diversity and inclusion, design thinking, service design, customer experience management and innovation. So that's a lot of core areas, but that's what we like to see. And it just, to me, it just underlines how versatile play and games are in the area of learning. For the past 7 years, Mihaela Danciu has been an ambassador of serious play, helping organisations unlock people's creativity and the power of diversity for change and innovation. In her previous life, she spoke mainly corporate throughout her 20 years plus experience in marketing, branding and employee communications in multicultural environments. As a passionate coach and playful facilitator, Mihaela is on a mission to move minds and touch hearts, harnessing the power of serious play, games, design thinking, solution-focused coaching and cultural intelligence. Alejandro Lopez is the co-founder of VUCA, an HR innovation agency based in Mexico City with clients and projects in Latin America and Spain. He loves helping organizations to crack the communication and working codes of teams by using serious play and experiential learning methodologies. He focuses on designing and facilitating innovation and collaboration workshops using gamification and learning by doing and thinking principles. So welcome, presentation team. As I say, I don't know much about the product you're about to present to us, so I will just leave it to you and let you get on with it.
Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction, and thanks to all of you for being here. And for those who are watching the recording, thanks for going through this recording session. I'll just set the premise for this game and the product, and then from there I'll let Alejandro and Mihaela take it over and drive it. How this game idea germinated was we were just thinking about the onboarding process and also trying to understand customers while we are providing them services or while we are even prospecting them in the early stage. So we said, why not gamify this entire journey? And the essence we are looking at is look at something which is not only useful for learning, but also useful as a co-creative game play, wherein we are game playing with the customers to empathize and understand with them. And where are we in this product right now? We've got the product idea and the soul of the product, and we are play testing it right now. We've got some play elements into it, but what we are looking at is a skeleton and getting feedback on, are we on the right track or does this require more better fine tuning? And we want to take it one step at a time, wherein we want to get perspectives from both sides of the coin, clients and people who seek out for clients or who serve clients, to help us give feedback whether this skeleton and this heart of the product is right or wrong. And from here, I'll let Mihaela and Alejandro to take it forward for you and get you into the gameplay.
Okay, thank you, Lakshman. I would suggest we go directly into the gameplay. Just a few words heads up before getting into it. We can play it both as single players and in a team. But since we are so few today, we would suggest to approach it as a single player experience and see what it goes on. Also, if you would like to choose a role just before the game start, you can do that in addition to the one of being the player or the fish cook, as you will see the roles in the beginning of our game, right? Keep in mind also those additional rules that we have prepared for a team experience. And I would say let the game begin, or the game experience begin. Alejandro, if you could share the link.
Sure.
And then we are looking into your feedback to learn more about how you experienced this very early stage customer discovery game. Okay?
Okay. So the link is in the chat now, and maybe we should present this one-player version here in order to keep it in the recording, right? So
Or maybe
exactly.
Or maybe I'll request if James or Kelly, would one of you be interested to share your screen and gameplay, and the other person can play with as a team member? So that would be good.
It
so
would be better.
Yeah.
It would be quite well.
Yeah. So James and Kelly, who would want to share your screen? And
I won't be able to share mine, unfortunately, just because we have very, very tight firewalls which prevent me from doing a lot of things. So.
Okay. I can share mine.
Sure.
Okay,
Please
perfect.
Great.
James, I hope
I can share mine if you like.
Sure. Even that. Sarah, you could also do that.
Yeah.
That would be good, equally good. So you and Kelly can decide. And we'll let you play. We are just here to observe and guide you through at intermittent steps.
Okay. There we go. Is that what everybody's supposed to be seeing?
Yeah.
These are the roles I was referring to. So the person playing and doing the screen sharing would be you, Sarah.
Yep.
But also, Kaylee and James, you can log in by yourselves and assume the same role, right? And there will be 3 more roles: bringing the fun at the table, the roasting chef, the sensory evaluator, which would be the spokesperson, and everyone at the table, which all of us will be actually the happy-go-luckies, right? So, Sarah, please enter the game world.
Okay.
And we will leave it up to you to experience it and let us know if you have any technical difficulties.
Okay. Right. So I just go ahead and play. Did you want to give some commentary while I'm?
So what you're seeing on the screen is actually the commentary and the narrative, or maybe if you want, one of us could speak about it while it's loading. So Mihaela, do you want to do that?
I can do that, yeah. So imagine, guys, the pandemic is over and you have embarked on a humanitarian mission. You need to quench the thirst and hunger of your clients while winning badges and building trust with your customers. Your goal would be to host a dinner party for your top clients, celebrating the game-changing contributions to your company's outstanding bottom line, not to mention a sustainable society. So today, you will be a worldwide famous chef that have all the know-how, skills, and resources, and would be able to serve the best dishes in the world to feed your guests' appetites. You have the perfect hosting team by your side to help you impress your seasoned guests. Watch out for drama, forge alliances, and enjoy a soiree to remember. So please go above and beyond to throw this amazing dinner party that is fit for royalties. Good luck and have fun.
Okay. That's brilliant. Okay. Right. Call of the Wild. I have to click to read an announcement.
Okay.
Okay. So the challenges, urgencies and high demands, yet the finesse required in bid and proposal management projects is equivalent to hosting a world-class fine dine dinner in the wild terrains of nature. This is your call for invitation from the wild. Start preparing to host the most exotic dinner for your clients in the landscape of your choice. Okay. So choose my destination. Ooh, right. So I guess what you're looking at here is this is the game that you would play with your potential customers, and they're attempting to draw parallels with the project they've got in mind to work with you on. They are attempting to draw parallels with the experience they're trying to create here. So can I just ask a question? So you've got bid and proposal management projects. So within this game, is that the kind of projects that you're looking at, or would the kind of project be customizable for different settings? You see what I mean?
So
It's entirely customizable.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I might if I was playing this game with my clients, I might say your learning experience project. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
this is neutral of the industry, neutral of the function.
Right.
It's
yeah.
more
So
about clients and serving the clients.
it's completely industry agnostic then.
Yeah.
So I'm going to what do you do at this point? Do you kind of sort of prompt a conversation about sort of a metaphorical conversation with the client about the challenges they're facing? Because I would say I'm going to opt for, I'm going to pretend I'm having this kind of metaphorical conversation with you, and I'm going to say I'm going to go for the Everest challenge because the learning project that I'm looking at has something that's been tried many times before, and it's proved to be really, really difficult to reach the goals. And I'm really hoping that you're going to be able to help me with that. So this has quite a lot of parallels for me with climbing a very difficult mountain. So that's what I'm going to go for.
Great.
Is that the kind of sort of mechanic of the game, or am I making this up?
Yeah. No, it's
okay. Cool.
You're getting it right. You're getting it right.
Cool.
That's intended.
Yeah. So would it be sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions here. So would it be the case that you've got somebody who's trained as a facilitator and facilitating this game, who's quite skilled in starting these kind of metaphorical conversations then?
Yeah.
So that's a bigger thing which we are trying to look, but before that we want to get this as a gameplay, which is more of co-creative gameplay. Yeah.
So what's in your backpack? Think about the entire journey of your project and brace yourself for the experience all the way. Click on the superhero. Okay. Right. So I want to unlock hearts and minds. I have to say that's quite intuitive, having a circle in which people drop things. I didn't even read that bit there, but I immediately knew what it was I was meant to do.
Okay.
Maybe this point is where discussions start having place, right? Within a team of participants here. So it's nice. It's part of the game to have this negotiation on what or which superpowers are we choosing and so on.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, right, this learning project that I want to do, I want to unlock hearts and minds, because I want to make sure we've got that at the end of the learning program, that we've got people who are buying into what it is we're trying to do with them. We're hoping to make people into empathetic listeners.
Just one remark here. This is about your superpowers as
right.
as
Okay.
as a project lead, you know.
Right. Okay.
What you have in your backpack, what are your superpowers, your strengths, with regard to the project that you are proposing to the customer?
Right. Okay.
So these are the superpowers that you would want to leverage and bring into play while executing the project.
Okay. So this isn't the customer who is going through this experience then?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Required upgrade. Okay. So I would say this project needs clear messaging, strong narrative, and autonomy. Cool. So what are the project barriers? Unmotivated staff. And I should really be talking while I'm doing this. So yes, unmotivated staff, lip servicing leaders, no influence.
Just one question. How about you, Kelly and James? Are you playing?
I'm just having to watch this one, unfortunately. It's a problem on our side with the external websites. So
okay.
Understand, yeah.
Do feel
I am playing.
Do feel free to chime up with any questions or comments as we go along.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can
Sorry
even
for the interruption.
Prompt Sarah what she wants to do, if anything you feel like, feel free to.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at the moment I'm slightly confused about who is playing the game, if you see what I mean. So this game is intended to be something that's played between you as a service provider and a potential customer. So I'm slightly confused about who is playing the game, who is answering these questions. Is it the service provider or is it the customer?
This is more about the customer. The service provider is playing with the customer to help them also identify and discover these answers. So this is more in the narrative of the customer.
Okay, because I was a little bit confused. Because am I able to go back?
No, right now it would not allow.
Okay,
because
I'll just talk about it. So a couple of screens ago, when I was talking about what my requirements were from the project.
You're talking about empathetic listener, enlightening hearts and minds.
Yeah. So, but maybe I misunderstood the question. So maybe was that question then asking the customer what do you already have? Where are you starting from? Okay, right.
Yes,
that makes sense now.
Hence my remark.
I was getting slightly confused because I was thinking, if it's about superpowers, am I now filling this in as the service provider saying what powers I'm able to offer? But now I understand. So the question was actually about where the customer is starting from, what resources they already have. So in other words, what doesn't need to be what doesn't need to be dealt with the potential project. Right. Okay, that makes sense now.
And this moves you to the next leg of this discovery process, wherein now you need to identify who are your allies whom you would want to take in this project.
Okay.
Allies could be stakeholders, they could be influencers, they could be decision makers.
Okay. Okay, so you're now thinking about somebody who can help you with this process.
Or somebody who could make this project move or stop this project.
Okay.
So whom do you want on your side so that this project takes full-fledged, full steam ahead?
So at this point, this could be the customer talking about what they require from you as their ally, as their partner on this project, or they could be talking about other stakeholders.
They could be talking about internal stakeholders with whom they need to get the approval further up the line.
Okay, so is there the potential? I'm sort of I don't know if this is helpful, but I'm kind of sort of giving feedback as I go along to a certain extent, or asking, sort of interrogating the way the game works. So is there the potential to iterate this stage as many times as you need to kind of get them to look at all the stakeholders, or are they thinking about the most important stakeholder at this stage?
Right now, for the gameplay and playtesting the idea, we're just keeping it one time. But the idea, because as we said, this is facilitative and co-creative.
Yeah.
At any point in this stage, in any phase of the game, it's meant to be iterative. We can go back and play that and come back again.
Okay, cool.
But
so I'm going to say that I need, in order to make this project happen, I need somebody with authority, with personal connections, and perseverance. Yes, so I want senior management to be persistent in making sure that this project goes ahead, because it's previously, as I mentioned when I was talking about the Everest, it previously hasn't happened, so I need somebody who's going to stick at it, but I need lots of buy-in. So somebody with authority and personal connections would be really helpful.
Great.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So now as a customer, we start focusing on the nitty-gritties of the project and try to walk the metaphysical journey. If you were to cook it, what ingredients do we want? Where are we going to fetch the ingredients from? What are the dishes we would want to prepare and serve? And how can we get our nemesis turned into ally?
Okay, so this is a metaphorical conversation? Yeah.
This entire game is metaphorical conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Right, the Call of the Wild, the Brave at Heart cooking champions. I do like your the way you've implemented this. I've not come across Genially before. I'll have to pick your brains later about it and how it works. I won't do that now. Okay. Instructions: place the token below on the landscape of your choice by clicking drag and drop. So one of these tokens, yeah.
The icon.
Actually, it's the chicken token.
Yeah,
it's
the plate with the chicken, actually, the token.
Okay.
And here it is a small glitch.
Yeah.
It should have been on
of,
top of the
Yeah.
mountain, yeah, in front of it, but it's fine.
Yeah. Right.
Then what do you do to move ahead?
I don't know.
Well, give it a try.
Begin with the first of your missions in your chosen landscape. I don't know. I'm kind of moving around. Oh,
No.
I don't want to log into Milan. Sorry. I hope that's right. Phew. I had a horrible thought I was going to close everything down there.
So basically what happens is you follow the trail from the mountain to the center.
Okay, how do I do
that? There are four different landscapes, and different team members may have different metaphors. So they start from their metaphorical world and they move on.
Okay, so what do I actually do?
So can you click on this blinking blue dot on the trail of your journey? The first blinking dot.
All right. Okay. I need to double click on it. Right. Okay. Right. Collect your ingredients. Ooh. I'm not sure that I like the look of the things in the black market. They look a bit peculiar. I think I'm going to go and do that. So at that stage, what does that mean? So you said that the whole game is a metaphorical conversation. So what is the difference, for example, between me, those decisions? What informs those decisions as I'm looking at the game?
Actually, there were like some information to make it clearer above every image or every option, the black mark and they were displayed like when you place the cursor over the image. So I think that in this case it's an upgrade we need to do in the gameplay, because it was not clear that you should do that, just to place your mouse and on every image. So I'm taking notes. I'm taking several notes here.
Okay. Yeah. So can you take me through what it would have said if it had been, if I'd clicked on the right bit?
Once you finish this, we'll go back same place again.
Okay.
So
okay.
we'll do that. So here in this option, you need to click and identify the visual reference. This is more about searching for what we would need as a right ingredient.
Okay, so all I've got is an orange screen at the moment.
Yeah. Do you see
and
this?
You also have a spotlight.
Okay. So I click on the spotlight.
Try to play with it, actually.
Get your pineapples to prepare exquisite cocktails for your guests. But that refers to clear messaging. Okay. So what is the difference in terms of my decision? What's the difference between?
You tell us, what difference do you notice actually between all these emerging copies?
Oh, right. Okay. So that's actually got a picture on it.
Okay. It's got a picture in it, and it also has a hand that is activated.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gets easier.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering
sure.
what that means, though, in terms of
these are conversational triggers to actually go deeper into discovering these metaphors and what it means in the project, and accordingly, which makes better sense.
Okay. So what would be happening conversation-wise while I'm picking these options then?
So for the project that you're thinking about, what does the spices and the dessert metaphorize for you, and which spices would you want to go for and look for?
Oh, I see. Right. So you'd be prompting me for sort of you know, what spices up your project.
Yeah.
What is the main ingredient of your project?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I see. Cool. So I got the bartender badge. Excellent.
Yeah. So here again, the conversation is, if you got the bartender badge, what's the first basic low-hanging fruit in this project, which makes you feel that?
Okay.
Now
here you activate the next mission.
Right. So I now want to go on my next mission.
Yeah.
I'm guessing right. A recipe for disaster. Hangman. Cool. Let's have a look at this. I'm going to go for E, because there's always E's. Oh, no.
You do have a clue at the bottom which talks you about looking at
I think
the
that's
image
saying
and try to make sense of it.
cooking egg.
And you have another clue, actually, on this slide.
Avoid a recipe for disaster.
Not only that.
Oh, yes, on eggshells, right. I think I remember those.
Yeah.
You know what? I couldn't think of a word that had egg at the beginning and then had more things on the end. And I was thinking it might be some kind of pun like excellent or something like that. Let's walk. Okay. So are the activities that come up, such as this one, are they linked to the sort of answers that I've given previously, or the options that I've selected previously?
They are.
They are. Okay.
So they are.
No, but presumably not in this demonstration, because
Exactly. And
yeah,
as I said earlier, that we are building a Miro version which ties all of these things. So here we're just testing the skeleton of it to go through the phases and try to make sense. Would these conversations or these segments of conversations be important?
So presumably, if I'd have given some kind of response about communication or lack of communication, or people not listening or something, or people being difficult with each other, then that would be where the walk on eggshells thing would come in. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So correct me if I'm wrong. So one of the basic mechanics would be it's a bit like a branching scenario game in that aspect.
Sure.
Yeah.
That as people make decisions, those decisions take you into further decisions or further activities which further interrogate that response that they've given. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And for the demo, we are getting you to play the hangman. Basically, what we have is this visual cue and the metaphor cue, and triggers into conversation and taking actions on the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this has got something to do with tea. The only thing I can think of, storming a teacup that doesn't get cup. So it's cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. There we go. Okay, so presumably then this would prompt a conversation about what is it that people don't like? What is it that's not somebody's cup of tea? Whoa.
Exactly. And what are the uncomfortable areas that you foresee as part of this journey of the project that is important to be looked at and tackled at?
What was the last word of the second? Deputy chef badge. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm getting the hang of this now. Spectacular mains. Right. Four course dinner. Cocktails and snacks. Oh God, I wasn't looking. Right, cocktails.
It's very common, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No.
Oh.
Yeah, I've just got to avoid. Yeah, not doing very well at that, am I? Not again. Right, I'm going to pay more attention to the little enemies this time. Oh no. Ah. Yeah, okay. Can I just continue, presumably?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Right.
So the previous part is more trying to get you.
Mr. Grew, aka an influential internal stakeholder, and his mischievous villains are cooking up their evil plans, making your life work a living nightmare, and your dream project has gone for a toss. If you manage to stop Mr. Grew from interfering with your plans, your resilience will increase. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. I presume I'm doing this okay.
And you also need to fly into the correct cloud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. I thought I was just trying to avoid everything.
Okay.
Oh, don't think that bomb is what I want. Okay, so if I show the answers. Okay.
Here it's more about triggering the questions of
Yeah.
Dealing with the stakeholder and how to channel emotions, how to be resilient, and how to trigger collaboration and accountability.
Okay.
So what can be done within the project to take it up?
Right. 3. Okay. Okay. MI. Yeah. Okay. Is it in order?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one by one.
Min. Mini.
You'll have to probably move the lens image a bit on the side.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, you need to move the lens first of all, because
One by
apparently
one.
it's,
Yeah. One row by at a time.
SEP.
Move the lens again.
Yeah.
Okay. When the lens is on the text box, it would not allow you to type it.
SEP. I'm just trying.
Okay.
RCE. PTIO. Okay. Of risk. Okay. I had a little bit of difficulty working out where to separate those first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Righto. So where am I now? Is that it?
That's it, pretty much. Yeah, you have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically,
Okay.
the gameplay gets over. Just ignore the message on the left, right-hand side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cool. Okay. So, what would you like us to do now?
Yeah.
So how about you, Kelly? Have you finished the game?
Yes, I just finished mine as well. I was kind of pacing along the same pace. I really liked in the beginning with how you built the kind of the customer or the client profile. The one spot I got confused on, as I thought it was things we wished we had versus things that we had.
Yeah.
And I did get a little confused at first when I got to the map, just like Sarah did, of where to click next. But I kind of just reread and then guessed to click on the kind of the little dots. So I got through pretty quickly. And I did the scuba one. And I did get a little confused in the marketplace. I eventually realized that the ones that had the picture were the ones I could click on, but I didn't understand. I really wanted to pick watermelon and it wouldn't let me. So I didn't understand the rhyme and reason behind which ones I could pick and which ones I couldn't. I think that was the spot I got the most confused on. But and then I liked at the end that you're working, it seemed that kind of the takeaway was building up the client's kind of knowledge and capacity of what kind of the mindset they're needing for a successful project. The airplane and the Pac-Man games, though, I failed miserably. Those are really, I found this hard to navigate, but really awesome. Just, it's a really awesome concept for kind of this lead-in, and I liked it. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess the bit that I'm most curious about is how it would be facilitated. So the kind of information that you would be pulling from the client, or is there an element of is there some kind of data analysis or intention to have some kind of data analysis behind the game, so you can see how people play and see the decisions they make and pull some insights from that? How's that going to work?
So, yeah, the bigger picture, the bigger vision of this game is to get that. One is get data analysis. Two is also lead the conversation to such a level that the service provider team and the client team have already started co-creating and partnering.
Yeah.
So create an experience of their interactions to such a level that they feel like wanting to join hands together and take it up. As we said, this is just a demo thing. We are building the full game, and we definitely want to go and build all these segments much more elaborately in a Murals or Miro board for virtual play. Physical play would involve game boards and game cards. The essence is how can we intensify these sections to lead to that particular area? But before intensifying, we wanted to check, is this skeletal structure of the approach that we're looking at to gamify this journey, is this right? And thereby then go and build on it, so that at the end of the gameplay, the outcomes are A, synergies between the two teams, B, clarity and empathy with the client and the client's project, and C, a certain amount of data analysis on the gameplay and the data analytics with regards to the gameplay, which could be used as a reminder while the project is being executed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concept is really sound. As I say, the bit that kind of slightly confused me was what was guiding my decision. And it was like, I guess when I was doing the cocktail thing, it felt like the decisions had already been made for me, that all I had to do was go and find the one that had the picture. But I wasn't really clear on what that picture related to. Was I being guided towards coconuts because of something I'd said previously? Or did coconuts represent something that you as the service provider wanted to talk about? I wasn't quite clear what that was, what that bit was about. And I guess that's why I kept asking the questions about how it's going to be facilitated, because I'm guessing that alongside this gameplay experience, or I might be wrong, I don't know, that's kind of why I'm asking, there's some kind of conversation that's going on with a facilitator to whereby the client is going, well, I've made this decision because metaphorically the situation I'm in feels like this to me, or am I wrong with that?
No, at this point, these are pretty much conversation starters. Okay. Metaphorical conversation starters, actually.
Yeah.
And next step would be to add more meat, let's say, on these game zones, in order to add more specific content related to the customer discovery process, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
And if I also want to add in over here, I wanted to draw the attention that when we are looking at clients, it's not one single person driving it. They have a team.
Yeah.
And when we spoke about data analytics, and in this particular aspect of looking for watermelons and lemons and stuff, the game there would actually have much more than these options, and the options that the team members choose would be different.
Yeah.
Here for the demonstration, we just kept one of it as the final option. And this is what it simulates. If team members come up with different options, what is that one final option that the team decides to go ahead with, and why so? And that brings out the internal team dynamics on the decision making as well. And that brings it out more clarity, why the team is choosing one over the other. What would it mean? And those all are part of the facilitation part that the facilitator would have to look out and facilitate it for.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So was there is there any other sort of aspects of the, so obviously I went through one experience, which was going for the Everest thing. Were the other experiences different? Do you want to sort of explain?
The experiences would not be different, they would be the same, but the metaphorical interpretation would be different. What does it mean to serve ice cream in Everest versus what does it mean to serving an ice cream in a scuba diving area?
Okay, right.
And how does it metaphorizes with the project that you're thinking about? So the journey is the same, but the trigger, the interpretations, the metaphors, and the conversations would take a different turn.
And what is the intended output as a result of playing this game with your potential client? What would you, so let's say if I said, yeah, Lakshman, I want to use your game because I want to use it in my initial conversations with potential clients for learning programs. What would you say to me about what I would get out of playing the game?
It would, you would get out a clear list of actionables that are priority for you to look at. B, much more clarity on the needs and much more alignment with your internal team and stakeholders, what needs to be achieved, and clear direction for you to give to us with regards to where we need to keep focus on, where we do not need to keep focus on, and how ready you are to take this project and go ahead with us to work together.
Right. Cool. Okay.
So it's more about getting a pulse check and bringing out all these lists out very clearly and empathizing for the client with regard to the project and for the service provider with regard to the client and the project. Okay.
And how, so I remember a question I asked very, very early on, which was about, because I think when I followed the path for Everest, it was talking about, what was it talking about? What kind of project? I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, if you were to look at this project and the journey with regard to the landscape, which landscape do you want to go for?
So how would so let's say you're offering this game to consultants generally, because I guess that's the kind of area we're looking at, people who offer some kind of consultancy service. So how do they go about? I mean, you know, this is probably way down the line. It's probably something you haven't even thought about yet, in which case just close my question down. But how would they go about customizing this experience to fit the questions that they want to ask and the industry that they're working in?
A good question. We definitely are looking at a lot of customization area, and those customization area would be with regards to the choices that they put forward with regard for the client. The game mechanic still remains that you are there to choose a landscape. Here we're given 4 landscape choices. They may replace these choices with something else which suits their specific need and their specific industry. Coming to the cooking challenge with regards to the choices for appetizer, the main food, and the ingredients. Again, the customization would be changing the input of the ingredients and letting the customers choose among those array of list of input. So there we do have the customization. And it is so designed that the facilitator would have to customize it for every workshop they do with the client, because they'll have to bring in mind the impact of the client and the conditioning of the client at that particular stage.
Okay. Cool.
So what we are looking at is providing a set of all these ingredients and also providing a set of additional cards wherein they could bring in their own step and put it across and fit it across.
Sure. I would like to add. Yeah, I would like to add something that, in this Miro or mural or physical version based on card and this card system we are working on now, we think that we should give quite more options to be played, even build a matrix, you know, depending on the situation or even the industry, just to help the facilitator choose what kind of metaphors, what kind of landscapes and so on work better. So this is the very first version, and what we wanted to test now is first of all the gameplay and these 3 aspects Laxman has already mentioned. But of course we need to make the menu actually richer, you know, and more diverse, just to better catch and represent metaphorically different industries, different situations, and different kind of customers as well. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this is where actually this makes it complex for us to build the game, and that's why we wanted to understand the concept, because we want to keep open for content customization, but keep the game mechanic somewhere play tested and freezed up so that the consultants can take it up immediately and customize it and roll it out.
What made you decide on a cooking challenge?
Okay. Maybe I would bring this back to the day that me and Alejandro, we had a lot of discussions, and we were trying to see if you were to look at this journey of client wanting to have a need and service the need of the project, which metaphor best suits them?
Yeah.
We
Actually,
had not many metaphors, and then go ahead.
Okay, please finish.
Sure.
I have another answer, but I'll let you finish, and then please.
So while looking at these metaphors, we went back to all those client requests and all those projects which we missed. And I figured out, oh, what we're looking at is the client was talking about something which brings in an element of satisfaction for them, an element of prestige for them, and an element of success for them. And what it could be than any other. And the metaphor that best suited was a cooking challenge. Because if you are to cook, we would be very particular about the nitty-gritties and focus on it and cook it.
Yeah.
Versus any other challenge, we still don't know the client. We still don't have the access to the client. So this is the best and easiest way to bring it across. And in any sales or any sales conversation or any sales relationship, somewhere the dinner and the dinner party is an important place to have these things. So that's where we took that analogy. Alejandro, you can add on.
It's okay. I was just like giving this anecdote that when we started designing or even ideating this game, we got inspiration. Okay, since the three of us are the Lego Serious Play facilitators, we got inspiration from this mini chef restaurant Lego game based on you decide your meal based on Lego bricks. And it's a very good example of gamification here. So
yeah,
at the very beginning, and in the roots of this game, we got inspired by something related to food, and so the rest of the journey has how can we connect the dots and just frame this game and this sales discovery process to. In some kind of food narrative. So that's how it has been working up to now.
I mean, I can see as a framing metaphor, it's really effective because, other than oxygen and water, food is the most important thing that you need. So you're already framing the conversation in terms of this is something that you need, which is, useful. Cool.
And we are thinking about unearthing our customers' real needs, not the ones that they actually imagine having, but what are their real needs.
Cool. Yeah. Excellent. So Kelly, James, do you have any questions or any comments you want to make?
Yeah, I think the concept's really interesting. Liked some of the gamified elements in there. Liked the board, which looks a lot like the one from Jumanji. I don't know if it was the exact same same one.
Yeah.
But like that, I think at its current stage of build, it's probably a little bit too abstract for me to personally use in my organisation. But I do like that it would lead to some quite interesting conversations. But yeah, that could be my kind of personal preferences. I think the metaphors are great, but I think there is probably some space for maybe a little bit more context for people, and a couple more links into what that means from their project perspective. But yeah, some really interesting ideas, and visually, I think it's quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I think I'd sort of mirror what James is saying. I did find it at times a little bit difficult to work out how it was going to work without those conversations actually going on. So without that facilitation actually happening. For example, when I was making the cocktails, it was sort of like, well, I've chosen coconuts, but I felt like I was being guided towards coconuts. What does coconuts mean? And I guess that context setting probably was the bit that felt like it was slightly missing for me. But I guess what you were trying to do here was actually sort of demo and test your implementation of the gameplay itself. So yes, I can really see how it would work, but I guess without that context at the moment, it just feels a little bit too abstract for me.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
it is. and it is because it's in its very early stages,
very
as
early
I said in
stages.
the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's the other thing to stress, of course. Yeah.
And one thing we are mindful is this particular space of onboarding customers and prospecting customers is very critical. So we don't want to come out with some gamified element or some game which we put it out very early out in the market and it does not fulfill its purpose. So we wanted to take step by step to go it and build it more in detail wherein it serves a purpose.
So, maybe any suggestions would you have with regard to adding some more context? For instance, James, what would you felt like you needed?
Yeah, so I think just maybe a few information boxes between different sections would be quite interesting, just to say what you're about to do is this is going to be tied into maybe the skill sets that you're going to need during the project, or maybe some of the barriers that you're going to come across. The other thing I'd probably that might have been helpful for me is where the navigation can be a little bit trickier because you've got lots of different elements. It's not quite as linear as some digital content, which is a good thing, but it probably would be a case of maybe having a timer that if the person didn't click anywhere within a given amount of time, it might give them some kind of prompt. So it's not cluttering up the screen straight away saying, oh, click here, but if they're not finding it as intuitive as they might, maybe after 10-20 seconds it gives them a little bit of a nudge.
Yeah, sure. Anything else? Kelly, maybe you have any thoughts?
Not even any questions or feedback?
Yeah, sure.
I think overall, I really like the framework and the concept and the goal of it. But I think what I had said before, and then also what Sarah and James has said, I could have a little bit more context of kind of as you're going through. But I think you're onto a really solid idea that through iterations. I'm curious to see, where you guys end up after you play tested a bit more and all that. But just a really neat idea, because as you're saying, the client onboarding is so crucial. And then so it kind of feels like, walking our talk in gamification, if we can gamify our processes and have them be effective ways to like build a client profile or a project profile to see during the discovery where they're needing to be. So I just love the concept so much.
Yes, I really like the idea, but I guess if I was pursuing this concept myself, I might step back a little bit and have actually, though it sounds a bit counterintuitive, have actually less games and less stuff that you're giving to them, and actually extracting more from the client. So a bit more sort of, I guess, a more narrative structure, where you're, I don't know, asking them what ingredients they want to include in something, getting them to build a menu or something, and then that leads to a conversation. For example, I wasn't quite clear about, I enjoy playing the hangman because I really like playing hangman and I love puzzles, but I wasn't quite clear how that moved people forward, because it was sort of like, okay, well, do this puzzle and here's an answer, rather than sort of extracting information from the client, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, this was mainly a playful activity here, just to make it look more like a game, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
In this early stage of the development. So yeah, we do need to tie it to the other phases of the discovery process, actually. So yeah, it makes sense why you are wondering how does this where does this lead, actually.
I guess with the hangman, if the answer that was revealed by the hangman was a question, that would feel like it made more sense to me. Whereas it felt like it was an answer, which didn't seem to kind of fit in with the idea that what you're trying to do is get information from the customer. It felt like you were giving them information and saying, this is the answer, this is what you need. Whereas I don't know, if rather than it producing a well-known phrase, it produced a well-known question, like, I don't know, who moved my cheese or whatever. Then that is asking them a question rather than presenting them with an answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does make sense, and we are somewhere thinking in those lines. It's just that we were struggling to get the right mechanic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I completely understand that what you're doing.
The digital mechanic. Engineering. So
I'm being very picky.
Very true, and you're very valid point. And the essence is exactly the same, rather than giving information, putting question and expecting and getting to the clients to speak more about it. Now, when we were looking at the hangman part, we were looking at what all recipes disaster could happen, what all food disasters could happen. And we came up across with around 100 odd lists out of it. Now, all of this may not happen in the same time for all the clients.
Yeah.
Now, that's an input for us, which we would want to pose. And from there, lead it to a conversation with the question being asked and get the client to actually identify the disaster that they feel. And it may so happen, and this is also where we want to check, that the client chooses a disaster which is nowhere related to the food or the dinner option they're looking at, which would bring out a fear which the client is anticipating, which is nowhere related to the project's requirement and how it is hovering on now. So we do have these things in mind. It's just that we need to go ahead and work it out, the mechanic out. But thanks for bringing this up, because definitely this is what we are aiming to do it, and we accept that right now it is not happening there.
I mean, it's a really, really cool concept, the idea of and it kind of broadens people's ideas about what can be gamified and how, you know, what games can provide us with. I mean, in my mind, you know, the sky's the limit. You know, everything can be a game, because that's the way our brains work. We like to work out puzzles. We like to have that moment of victory, that feeling that we've beaten something, we've found something out, we've, you know, achieved something. And all of those can be put into any context, really. So you're breaking new ground. That's the other thing, isn't it?
Sure.
And that's always going to be bumpy and non-trivial. Yeah. Excellent. I think I've run out of things to say. I don't know about anybody else. So did you guys want to share your contact details, or you know, where people can find out more about the game? Or
before that, Sarah, can I pop a question and gather some insights? Sure. Going along the same journey in the metaphor of cooking at a landscape for serving clients, I have a question to Sarah, James, and Kelly, to all three of you. I want you to think about the onboarding journey that you have with your clients and the sales prospecting journey that you have with the clients. And can you shed light on which challenge or which part of the journey is the most difficult for you to crack or unlock, and you would want to actually look at if that could be gamified? Or that should not at all be gamified? If so, whatever is the option? For the clarification on it, so that that gives us some clarity as well. Yeah, sorry.
I'll go first, but I probably have maybe the shortest answer. I work internally for a learning development team here, so I don't do consultancy in the same way as maybe external consultants would. I think one of my big challenges a lot of the time is that my stakeholders have solutions in mind before we've gone through the project. So I think maybe that would be a really interesting thing to explore as part of this, you know, breaking it down from getting them to move away from solution and let's have a look at the problem first, would be something I'd be interested in.
Yeah, I would say exactly the same thing as James. It's just exactly what I was about to say. Is trying to get to the bottom of what people actually need as opposed to what they think they want. Because certainly within the field of games-based learning, usually people are approaching me because what they think they want is to make unpalatable learning more fun, and then somehow miraculously people will become engaged with it, and of course that's not what they really need at all. What they really need is something a bit more fundamental. They need to look at how they do learning, because if it's boring, they're doing it wrong, because learning should be fun. I know this is my big hobby horse, but one of the things that sort of really gets my goat is when people sort of say, oh, well, you know, gamification, it's all about engagement, it's all about making learning fun. And it's sort of like, actually, the reason that games are fun is because you're learning when you're playing a game. Learning is fundamentally fun, and it's one of the things that makes games fun. So you've got it the wrong way round if you're thinking, I've got this learning and now I've got to somehow put some kind of varnish on it that makes it palatable and fun to do. So yeah, anyway, rant over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's an onboarding thing that I run into a lot as well, where I'm often needing to move the needle and educate the client, and they come with this pre-thought out solution. And the other thing I often need to do is learn their the politics they're dealing with internally with their group of their stakeholders. So I think that the part I liked most was the potential for the profile kind of building that you have. What Sarah said too, of like, if you're asking them to kind of build a menu or something where you're getting more insight into their thing. Like when we got to the stakeholder part, I thought, oh, this would be a really neat place to be able to build, like, what are your top 3 stakeholders, and kind of get a little bit of a stakeholder profile, so you can help. I feel like I'm often my point of contact. I'm helping enable them to educate their group in order to bring gamification and just more engaging and interactive learning in versus PowerPoints and lecture. And so I think that's kind of the trickiest parts of the onboarding, indeed, is figuring out kind of the way that I can be an advocate to kind of, coach up to them, and then they can coach up internally, as well as also just really helping them understand, or not have them understand, like hashing out together with them what their actual outcomes, the outcomes they actually want versus the ones that they've kind of just thought they want. And then also how, like opening the heart and mind, how they're getting themselves there. So I think there's so much potential for I thought the beginning part, I could really see the potential in the beginning part. The second part with the games, I was also having a hard time connecting how those two connected. So, and I think sometimes you don't always have to have a playful game for it to feel gamified. So, but yeah, that's my ramble on it.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
These are really valuable inputs for us. So this would definitely help us go back and stitch the game much more concrete and bring in more concepts in these lines. Thanks for sharing your inputs over here.
Because I think planning a menu itself is quite a playful activity, because it's playful in the sense of being very creative. And if you're asking your potential client, well, your stakeholders, your clients, what's their ideal dinner party? What would it look like? What's on the menu? How's the room decorated? What does that actually mean? Why have you chosen to fill the room with balloons? What does that mean? Oh, it means my client is quite, my client or my customers are quite outgoing. They want to present themselves in this way, or whatever. And you've got all of that. And that in itself is a playful activity, because you're allowing them free rein with their creativity and their metaphorical language as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are hoping to show you more advanced versions of this game in the future, in a couple of weeks or months, even. Hopefully this very same year, maybe. So thank you very much for this feedback. We are going to
I'd be looking forward to seeing that. It'd be really good.
Yeah,
we definitely are targeting to get this completely ready before this year ends.
Yeah.
Excellent. Nice. yeah, Christmas present to yourself.
Yeah.
Getting it finished. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for bringing this to us. It's been really, really interesting. And yeah, as I say, really looking forward to seeing what develops from it. And thank you, Kelly and James, for coming along and your input as well. And yeah, and as I said, did you want to share any information about how people can keep abreast of what's going on with it, or how they can get in touch with you? Just stick anything in the chat. It won't show up on the recording, but I will add anything, any sort of contact details that you want to, or any other details that you want to share. I will edit those into the recording before I post it up.
I'm just pasting my LinkedIn profile, and Michael as well.
The same
So,
with me.
Cool. So I'll just edit those into the screen when I post the thing. Okay. Unless anybody's got anything else they want to add, I think I'll wrap up the session.
No, just thanks for letting us see the demo. I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to seeing it when it's when you've got the finalized version.
Cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the same to James and Kelly. Would you be interested to playtest once we have the finalized version? Be the early playtesters with us.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sharing it. I've enjoyed seeing it this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us during your weekend. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Hope to speak to you all soon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.